You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
Hello, this is Lisa on the Cry Freedom Show.
Hi, this is George from the Prisoner Broadcast.
You're listening to Scout Night at criticalmassradio.co.uk. Hey, you, what's happened to all the scouts? There was loads left in that pan before.
I've left you some in the pan.
No, you haven't. There's nothing wrong.
Yes, there's a full pan there.
Well, you've bloody eaten it all as perfect as usual.
The dog must have had it.
Yeah, right.
There's some lemon curd there. Just have a lemon curd butty.
Lemon curd, that's all that's left for me. You are always doing this.
You like lemon curd?
No, I don't like lemon
Have a lemon curd butty.
No, I don't want a lemon curd butty. I want
Calm down. Just calm
down. That's all you want. Good to say calm down.
You just need to calm down. Just take a chill pill there. Just take a chill. Calm down.
You mean all the
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the Prisoner Broadcast. I wasn't actually going to be broadcasting live tonight due to some personal stuff, but I've managed to give myself a bit more time, and I felt compelled to come on this evening. It's no exaggeration to say this is the hardest show I've done during my time here at CMR, because for the very first time on a Thursday night, I'm not being joined by one of my closest friends. Scouts Night will never ever be the same again, because Reverend George will never be on with me again. And for those who don't know, George suddenly and very sadly passed away last Monday night, and it's completely gutted me and the rest of us here at the station. I was very, very close to George. He was a friend and a confidant and someone I really admired, someone who was always there for me and someone I loved very, very much. And it's only now that he's not here anymore that I realise just how much I did care for him, and I feel that I've known him all my life, and he has left a massive, massive void for many of us. So, apologies to anyone expecting the usual show tonight. This is going to be a very specific show for George, so it might not be everyone's cup of tea, especially if you didn't know him, but there will be many pearls of George's wisdom on tracks I'm playing tonight, so something even for those who didn't know the wonderful George, and also a lot of his humour, which you get to hear as well. So, I'm not finding it easy to do, but I want to do it for George. It's hit me in waves over the last few days, and it really does hurt, but I couldn't let Scout Night pass without doing this. Tonight was going to be a 4-hour special by George to cover for my absence, and because he'd done a brilliant interview with the Liverpool actress Margie Clark, who is very much awake to this real world and wanted to come onto the show, George used all his charms to get Margie to agree to be interviewed, and even got to go around to her house for dinner to do it. Typical George, wily rogue. And I know he was excited about running the interview tonight because he had 3 hours of wonderful stuff he told us. And I'm actually not sure when we'll get to hear, or if we'll get to hear that now, because it was on his phone, and I'm not sure if we're going to get access to it, although I do know that Pippa does have one segment of it. So again, it just feels really weird being on here doing this, really strange. But the show must go on, and I do this for my mucker George. I love you, hon, and I miss you very much. We found out today that it was actually a heart attack that took him away from us, and also that his funeral will be a humanist funeral next week on Thursday, that's the 6th of December. Which is rather after it being a Thursday, that being Scout Night here on CMR. I kind of like that. We think it's about 3:30 in Liverpool, but we will, of course, keep everyone informed with the details here on the webpage and on our shows. And I'm going to play next a track that George played on one of his shows that he really liked, and it was one that he only found out about himself recently, so hope you into this, mucker. Okay, I've composed myself a bit now. Right, as Alex said yesterday on the Razor's Edge show, and well done, Alex, for coping with that at the start of your show last night. It's still so very raw for us, and it's hard for any of us to talk about this, but Alex said on the show last night that we were all on a high after our first CMR conference that took place last Saturday in Manchester. It was a great day, and George was a big part of it. He helped a lot with the PA equipment, a lot of other stuff, and I spent a lot of time with him on Saturday, which I'm very grateful for. We're now planning our next conference for February next year in Liverpool, and George would have no doubt been a major part of that had he still been with us. But we will hold it in his honour, in his hometown, and we're all hoping that it will be even more successful than the one we've just had, and you will get more details of this early next year. So, many of you know that George was a very talented and artistic man in many ways. He was a member of a band in his youth called Black Rose, and he has written many, many songs, some of which we have had the pleasure of listening to here on the station, and some of which I'll be playing tonight. I actually sent him a demo version of me singing a few weeks ago for a laugh, and I don't know what the poor man had done to deserve that, but he was very complimentary, whether he was just being polite or not, and we were going to sit down at some stage and have a go at doing a bit of a song together, and I was really looking forward to that. I just can't really take in that that's never going to happen now, because it is hard. Anyway, more recently, he'd been writing songs related to what we're trying to promote here on the station about the mass control and the manipulation that we're all subject to in this world by certain ruling powers. And George was one of the most committed people I've met with regards to trying to get all this information out. He worked tirelessly, quite often till ridiculous times, like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, like many others I know do. His energy was amazing, and again, his contribution that he made here was off the scale, and it's going to be missed so very, very much by us all. So next, I'm playing one of Rev's songs that we played a lot on here, and this is a track highlighting what they're doing to us in the skies with chemtrails. And I have to say, they were spraying them like mad over us today. It was just amazing. So this is White Lines by the Rev. Okay, that's White Lines, a brilliant track by George that we will no doubt be playing a lot more on here in the future. I'm sure he's out there somewhere listening with a cigarette in his mouth, listening to that, having a bit of a laugh anyway. Right, I know that George's partner Liz and her son Jay were going to try and listen into the show tonight, and I'd just like to say to them and their family that everyone here at CMR really loved George more than anything. He was an integral part of our lives here at the station, and the station really is our lives here. It's a total vocation. So we send our deepest and heartfelt condolences to you all. We feel your loss greatly because it's affected all of us who are close to George very strongly and deeply too. We're gutted to lose such a valuable and lovely, lovely member of the team. And I know for me personally, he was more like a family member than a colleague. And as I've said, it's going to be hard to fill the void that he's left. Anyway, I hope we get to meet next week at the funeral. So take care and know in our hearts that we are with you at this awful time. So as a bit of a contrast, I had so many happy times with George and we had so many laughs. I just loved his very distinctive laugh. He just used to set me off big time because he was very, very witty and he always knew the right thing to say to get me going. And we've had some brilliant laughs on air too during shows, some of which I will be playing tonight, and I'm really going to miss that. After our conference on Saturday, a few of us, me and George and Dave, retired to one of the rooms that we were staying in with a bottle of brandy for whom a certain person was responsible, all Dave's fault. And I can still see George sitting there now by the sink with the tap going to try and absorb his ciggy smoke. We were talking there till about 2:30 in the morning and having a giggle. And it was actually George who woke me up the following morning, banging on my door at 8:30 to wake me up because I'd overslept. So I'm not sure who was a bad influence on who, but I know he did lead a bit of a rock and roll lifestyle at times, so I'm going to blame you, Mucker, anyway. Okay, well, they were the very first words that George ever spoke out at Critical Mass Radio back on the 31st of May this year during its inaugural week. And I always remember the first time I listened to him, and he sounded like this roughy, toughy scouser and a really likeable rogue type of person, and I immediately warmed to him. And I know that some people prefer the slick, well-spoken presenters on TV and radio, but for me, it's all about normal, everyday people telling things how they are. And I've said this from the start about Critical Mass. For me, this is one of its strengths. Grassroots level people trying to tell their fellow man the truth about what is happening out there in the big bad world. The truth about the men behind the curtains, so that so many are still, yet to realise. And this is where I thought George really excelled. And okay, he may not have had the best presentation in the world, but his honesty and his knowledge and his caring for his fellow man and his determination to make a difference always shone through right from the start. And this is what made him the completely lovable, funny rogue that he was. And just to explain to anyone who may have just tuned in, I am doing a tribute show tonight to my dear friend and colleague, the Reverend George, who tragically we lost unexpectedly last Monday night. It was something I just had to do, and I'm going to be playing a lot of little snippets from his shows, giving you George's view on life and everything that is going on out in this world, as well as many examples of his wonderful sense of humour and wit. And he had me in absolute stitches so many times, and I wish you were here right now, George.
Yeah. I know, and people might say it's absolutely pointless, but people who know me, I know I saw a little spanner in the works, with the reference to John Lennon, spanner in the works, when and if I can. Just for my own satisfaction, if not now, even if it doesn't make any difference. And I think other people should take this on. Just, if you can, just throw a little, two fingers up against the system. But this is the Prisoner broadcast, coming from Critical Mass Radio. I'm your host for this evening. Just have a look at some of the comments in the chat room. If anybody does want to make a comment on the show or any of the music or anything, if you go onto the website, so it should be on the website anyway, the left-hand side, there's a chat and go box, chat room box, yeah. Just leave your comments there, positive or negative. I'm thick-skinned enough to take any stick anyone can give me. Okay, a little bit about what we want to try and do here. First part of the show, I started off the show, and I probably start off the show every week with revolution, because I think that's what it's all about at the minute. I think that's what we're talking about. And when I talk about revolution, I mean peaceful revolution. I'm non-violent. I don't believe in violence, never have. Don't think it solves anything at all. So if we are going to have a revolution, then let's have a peaceful one, please. And that doesn't come from me. as in any 60s hippie type thing, any peace-loving thing. I'm just being pragmatic. They outgun us. The ones who put this thing onto us outgun us. And you don't take a knife to a gunfight. And that's basically what we'd be doing. If we went onto the streets in our masses with wanting destruction and violence, we wouldn't get anywhere. They'd slaughter us. Wouldn't last 5 minutes. So that's the only reason. Well, one of the only reasons. I don't believe in violence anyway. It's not in my nature. But that is one of the reasons that, or the basic reason, I don't think a violent revolution will work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to focus a little bit on that song, because I think Lennon, when he wrote it, whether deliberately, John Lennon's my hero, by the way, for good or for bad, and as I go along I'll probably explain more about that. But when he wrote that song, it was in 1967, or when it was brought out in 1967, I think whether he had the foresight or not, it was very prophetic. But I'm going to leave. You know, people think this show's just thrown together. there's been at least 10 minutes preparation to put this together. Come on.
Okay, so I was just talking about our conference last Saturday, and I had another big laugh with George and Dave on Sunday morning afterwards. And I do want to remember the fun times tonight, because that was George to a T. He was always up for a laugh. So when I eventually crawled out of me pit in a panic and we headed off to the station, and we only went and got on the wrong blooming train, didn't we? And we didn't realise until about 20 minutes out, when the station names started looking a bit iffy, and suddenly all this countryside and mountains were coming up. So we just looked at each other and thought, this ain't the Manchester to Liverpool train. It's far too scenic. And then it started going backwards and forwards between stations for some really bizarre reason, and we were just in stitches. And I'm so glad that this was one of my last memories of him, and I'm getting a massive hug when we said goodbye at Lime Street. And then getting my last Skype message from him at about 20 to 10 on Monday night, and sadly a few hours later he was no longer with us. And I still look at my Skype every day expecting him to come online and expecting to see his name pop up. And I even sent him a message on Tuesday and just telling him off for leaving us. And I dare say I'll be sending some more over the next few days, because it's kind of a comfort. So anyway.
Well, I mean, previously, see, The Prisoner was a bit before my time. I don't know about some of the listeners there on, the chat box especially.
Come on, mate, don't be giving us that.
It's before my time. So, I mean, well, no, but Alex was saying, was it Port Merion?
Port Merion, yeah.
Yeah, and he was down there. Was he last week? And he said it was awful. So I mean,
oh yeah, just on that, mate. Alex, if you're listening, mate, it was a great show, and I'd recommend anyone that's missed the show last night, get it on the podcast. It's brilliant, and I love your broadcasting techniques, mate. But one thing I would say to you, mate, don't book a caravan in Rill. They're not going to have you there, Alex. I'm telling you. No.
So this Prisoner, then, I mean, again, I get the sort of gist, but I mean, I think it's more apt now today, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that TV series, Paul, was 45 years ago.
Okay.
And if anybody just look at one episode of it, and look the way it's set up. It's Paul Merion, I don't think, is at Ireland. I think it's attached to land. But the idea of the village, as they call it, is supposed to be like an island. So it's basically, you can say, is it Alcatraz? It was Alcatraz, wasn't it? It was the off California coast, I think. It was an island prison. So I think that was like, it was a prison, and it was on an island. But the inmates of the prison, as villages they were called, and this is the like this sinister connotations of the series if you watch it. Or it was only 17 episodes. Patrick McGowan, who wrote it, directed it, and played the character of John Drake.
Right. Okay.
And I say John Drake because the older listeners will know that it was a follow-up. The Prisoner was a follow-up to a series called Danger Man, where he was a intelligence agent, and he resigned because of the system. And that series finished. Well, when Patrick McGowan decided to do the brainchild, I think, of doing The Prisoner, he carried that character of resigning over to The Prisoner series, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right, so he was put in the village, in the prison on the island, because he never told him why he resigned. He never actually gave a specific reason why he resigned. So he was put in that situation. He was basically put in that kidnapped, as the opening sequence titles of the show.
Okay.
He was put into the village on the island in the prison as a prisoner. Well, he all wore uniforms, although they were like Butland style uniforms, and we spoke about this, haven't we?
Yeah.
But with this sinister side, and I don't know. I said to you at the time whether there's any connection between The Prisoner and the way we look at, or we used to look. I don't know whether is Pons and Butland still going, mate. I'm not sure. How long has it been there? But that type of system. Sorry, mate, go on.
The last time we said about Butlins, I mean, they tried to jazz it all up, like, to
give it another name.
Yeah, I think they didn't change
it. Not Haven Parks, is it?
Something
but
like
anyway, that. But that type of thing, as if he was in a holiday camp, but he was actually in a prison, and he all wore the nice blazers and everything else, all the villagers, but they were all in a uniformity. They weren't given names. None of them had names. His name was John Drake in the Danger Man series. When he came over to, and that's why I refer to him as John Drake and not his number, that was out a little bit of a respect to Patrick McGowan, I suppose. He wouldn't accept his number. He was given a number. All the villagers are given a number. And the villagers, it's a prison system, but it's to give them the mentality of being in a holiday camp, and that's why I refer to the Butlands scenario. Yeah. But they're given uniforms, they're given numbers, they don't have any money, which is the way this system is going. What's been planned for us is we're going for a cashless society. We're almost there now. That is planned for us, so everything is on the card, or it will be in your mobile phone as an app, as they call it, in your mobile phone. But I'll probably come back to that later on as well, because the mobile phone is very, very sinister. But anyway, so they never worked for any money. They never did anything for any money. Their function, they got work units, what they would call work units, and so many work units. With so many work units, you could purchase products, all of the mundane, basic products that we buy in our shopping. We get in our shopping trolleys. Okay. Plus alcohol. But alcohol, it was non-alcoholic. So there's no chance of any rebellion, nobody getting smashed and trying to swim off the village. Yeah. And it was a prison system. But as in today, and this is 45 years ago, and I meant to, we'll talk about the audio clip a bit later if we can. No, that I played to you, it's only a minute long. I forgot about that actually. But anyway, he's living basically in the prison system, and what they want is information of him. Why did he resign? Well, he won't give it. But he won't, he's a rebel. And rebels bandied about, but I still believe in the spirit of a rebel. I class myself as a rebel, and if somebody says, "Oh, it's a bit old-fashioned" or something like that, well, maybe it is, but I am. I just think that's the way I look at myself. I try to book the system whenever I can and wherever I can.
Well, what do you reckon? We'll have a good start to the show?
Two great tracks there.
Good stuff, eh?
First one was Flock of Seagulls, wasn't it?
It was Flock of Seagulls, yeah. Takes you back, doesn't it?
Aye, and Orchestral Manoeuvres. Another great band.
OMD, absolutely fab.
Phil Oldham, just mentioned there in the chat box, Echo and the Bunnymen, another great band. Have you got any their tracks lined up?
Oh no, I'm afraid not. I'll have to save that for next time, I'm afraid.
And the laws as well.
Well, we had the laws the other night, didn't we?
Yeah, I played that last week. Or as we say in Liverpool, the laws.
The lads.
Yeah,
Okay, moving on from Scouse.
Calm down. Go on.
We digress anyway.
I digress, go on.
Sorry, a bit late putting my mic back on there. Yeah, so he always managed to do it to me. He always managed to reduce me to a sort of a laughing, giggling mess. And I'm going to be playing a few of these tonight because it's just my best bits, really, my best bits with George, and it means a lot to me, so that's why I'm playing it. Right, going to have some music tracks coming up now that relate to what was just said, and better late than never, George, is all I can say. I've got Echo and the Bunnymen for you now, followed by the Laws, and then we've got the wonderful Flock of Seagulls coming up right now. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, Mocha. Better late than never with the Echo and the Bunnymen, eh?
It's okay, I'll let you. Right, getting back to that last video, which you've probably forgotten now, Stephen Moore and you, talking about your enslavement. The main theme, I think, as soon as, basically, is that what they're trying to say in that video is that we're in fear. If we live in fear in our lives and allow this to affect the way we think, then we become completely controllable by those who seek to do what they want to do to their own ends. And as it's possible to frighten an animal, and the animal is going to show fear in that precise moment, but it's only humans that you can instill ongoing, continual fear into, and it's when you do that and offer a so-called arm of protection, which many of us now know is exactly anything but that, then you've got them, or at least you do until they see exactly what's going on, and that's how we're being manipulated, right?
Yeah. I mean, you get to a stage and you do realise that we've been farmed over the centuries, and we're still being farmed to this day. And a farmer, at this moment in time, we're surplus to requirements. We may have been needed around the time of the Industrial Revolution and thereon, but once the main infrastructure and the main industrial complex was built up by the worker bees, this day and age, even in the military, we have become surplus to requirements. And as everyone knows with a farmer, if he rears an animal, he'll rear it and feed it and look after it to send to the slaughter. Now, an animal that is of no use to the farmer, no matter how long he's had it or what affection he's attached to it, once it's not viable to keep that animal, he will feed it and put it out to graze, as we like to think, for the rest of its life. Its natural life.
Yeah.
He will slaughter it. He will not waste money on feeding it or sheltering it. He will slaughter it. And that is what they are doing to us now. We are surplus to requirements, and we have served the purpose that they farmed us for. And now, as they refer to us in their own terms, we are useless feeders.
Yeah.
And that is partly, that is part of the thinking behind it is to, we don't need them, let's just cull them, let's exterminate them.
That's right, absolutely right.
And later I want to discuss what I think is a very important issue, which is where this country's at today and how we've allowed to get us to the position that it's in, basically. Because for me, and I've said it before on here, I believe we're under occupation from foreign powers. I seriously do believe that. You don't have to go into your local, into your city centre and point a camera quite innocently at a police officer and see what reaction you get. You probably get arrested. Or if the police officer does ask you questions and you refuse to give you details, see what happens to you then. To me, this country's been occupied by foreign powers our rules and regulations, our laws, what they like to call them laws, they're not, are placed down by Brussels, 75 to 80% of them. We don't actually rule ourselves anymore. Our sovereignty, our sovereign, has basically abdicated. She divorced herself from her oaths that she took in 1953 in the coronation. And we know our parliament, whatever political party it may be, whoever's in power, it's only puppets anyway for bankers, mega corporations, etc. So I think that needs discussion. And also I want to go back nearly 800 years, some 800 years, to the Magna Carta, what we discussed a little bit last week, with the lads that were on. And the importance of documents like the Magna Carta, that are laws, not act statutes and legalities that they like to throw at us, but the actual laws of this land that governs us as a nation, as the people of the nation. I want to cover that. I want to go from there to the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. A lot of people don't even realise we have a Constitution or a Bill of Rights. They think it's something the Americans have. This is based all on our laws, on our documents, on our the Great Charter and Magna Carta. So I'm going to be going into that.
Okay, these snippets aren't as slick as they could be because I was doing this on an editing tool, so bear with me with it kind of like cuts off mid-sentence. But again, George knew an awful lot about the way things work in this country because he always did a lot of reading and studying, and he was a very shrewd man, and he was like a very wise older brother to me, and I just felt so totally relaxed with him, and I felt I could tell him anything. And he was just one of those people, which I guess is why people felt like they'd known him for forever after just a short time. We always have a little bit of side humour going on between the hosts here at the station, and George was always the first to partake in this. And I've got a short excerpt coming up from one of his shows where he talks about Rob Freeman, host of the Out of the Matrix show here on CMR. And this was a kind of get him back after Rob did a bit of scouse bashing on his show, and it was all done in the name of friendship, of course. So this is George's retaliation on Rob.
But I do have another theory on this as well, you know, why they were so lenient with Rob. Because anyone who knows him and anyone who's heard his shows, I've got a feeling that the magistrates may have took pity on Rob's would-be fellow inmate. I mean, we all know him. Imagine having to share a cell with him for 6 months or 3 months. He'd be setting fire to the cell, pots, pans everywhere, pasta all burnt, smoke everywhere. Playing Oasis 24/7. That's not to mention the weird noises from the bodily functions. Oh no! I think his cellmate would be pleading with the governor to put him in solitary confinement or something. But he knows him only messing. Love you like a brother, Rob. Great result today, mate. Okay, let's get on with the show.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
Okay, this is CMR on a Monday night, and hopefully after that track just before that, there should be no introductions necessary for my co-host, and I'm hoping that he's there. You there, Rev?
Of course I am.
Oh, thank God.
Hello. Yeah, we got there in the end.
You're having a busy night tonight, aren't you, George?
Yeah. Keeps me off the drink, doesn't it? I've been in the pub now, so
I wish I could say the same, but
I'm being a good boy tonight. I'm staying in.
Oh, good. Well,
That was Dreamer's Dream by George, another wonderful track that he wrote. Well, I've spoken and I've chatted to George every day for months, and I think we've talked about just about everything under the sun, and I felt that there was nothing I couldn't talk to him about, and he was one of the nicest, most generous, caring and supportive people that I've ever known. So that's why I decided I wanted to do this show for him tonight. For the wonderful, wonderful man that was George Wilson, my Scouse partner in crime. George was a major, major part of Critical Mass Radio, and not only in presenting his own show and helping fill in for other shows, but he was involved in so much behind the scenes that many were not aware of. He put together most of the jingles that we play, and I always used to feel excited when we worked on a new one and he sent it through to me on Skype, and I listened to it for the first time, which is sad, I know, but... And he excelled himself in the last month doing some fantastic jingles for other shows, and that's a lovely legacy that will stay with us all here in a way that he will never leave us because of that. And he also did an awful lot of networking for the station, and he had a massive list of contacts and guests, and he got some great names on his show. He worked hard at promoting the station with his own songs, and he worked on setting up active events, really just about everything. And I feel that Paul and I worked especially closely with him, and it feels like such a big part of CMR has been taken away from us, really. And it will be very hard for a while, but we will carry on in George's name because that is what he would have wanted. And it will get easier eventually, and of course, we'll never, ever, ever forget him. Okay, I've got a longer audio coming up now, and next up we've got a discussion that George had with Paul back in August, right after a small group of us had been out in Manchester city centre distributing leaflets telling people about the Peterloo massacre that took place on the 16th of August 1819 in the huge open area around what's now St Peter's Square, Manchester. This square played host to an outrage against 60,000 peaceful pro-democracy and anti-poverty protesters, and an estimated 18 people, and that's only estimated, including a woman and a child, died from sabre cuts and trampling, and over 700 men, women and children received extremely serious injuries, and this was all in the name of liberty and freedom from poverty. So a very important subject, and I wanted to include this because I think it is important. So this is about half an hour long. I'm actually going to finish after this for about 10 minutes and then start again at 9 o'clock.
Okay, folks, welcome back. I said
you're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
By that sound, you probably sussed out now that Paul's there, and he's got his speakers on, or he's got his player on. Very unprofessional, I must say, but are you there, Booker?
I am so sorry. Yes, forgive me. I'm there. Everything plays off.
So you're winding me up, then.
I thought you were winding me up.
Now that you're on, I was going to lead us with a big introduction there and everything for you, because you've been to the Manchester City Centre today, marking the commemoration of the Peterloo massacre. You met under the mockery that's known as the obelisk there, haven't you, mate?
Yeah.
That was erected by the perpetrators. Sorry, mate, go on.
Yeah, no, just exactly right. And they became more imposing as the afternoon went on. Just want to say thank you to Lisa. I met up with Lisa today. We had a nice afternoon together, lovely afternoon, and great lady. And it was made even more enjoyable. And Lisa got stuck in there, handing flyers out and talking to the public, etc. And it was a hard day, and Lisa will tell you, but we had about 10 people maybe turn up, and the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot, considering the amount of people that turned up for the actual original event, if you like. But it's just the people. I mean, Alex again straight onto the megaphone, shouting to the public in his way. We tried to connect with as many people as we could, and I would say about 75% of people took an actual flyer, and so I'd say about half of them maybe looked at the flyer. What they did with it after, I don't know. But you did get an element, especially the younger ones, who were just laughing, basically as you walked past. They weren't listening, just laughing at us, basically.
Yeah, well, do you remember when you were young? I know it's a few years ago now, mate, but do you remember? Do you remember when you were young? Have you seen anybody anywhere who was talking about anything, no matter what it was? You just took the mickey anyway, didn't you? You just did. With you, there's that ignorance there, isn't there? But I'm sure, just the small band here that you did, if nothing else, you just highlighted a piece of history, a piece of important history for the whole of the Northwest. I know it was centred on Manchester, but I mean, it involved all the Northwest, and I think some of the Northeast were involved as well, weren't they, Paul? Already, it's just the Northwest.
You know, through Northwest is that's the, it's I mean, again, it's through Alex. He just you know, it's him who got the people together, and because he's big on the Peterloo Massacre, and it was Alex. I mean, the video, guys, is on the site that Alex did. If you look further down the site, you can see the Battle of Peterloo, that's Massacre and Illuminati crime video is actually on the site by Alex, and it brings home. It's quite upsetting actually, and that's what woke me up to it. And it's through Alex that I knew about this, not schooling. Not the local media. It was through Alex and Wakey Chap putting this out.
Yeah, any form of history that involves the people rebelling, whether it be lawful or not, usually gets swept under the carpet. We know that, don't we? And they'll give us all the wonderful battles that they've orchestrated and engineered over the hundreds or over the centuries. But local ones or anything to do with the ordinary people rebelling against the state or the crown, they tend to hush that, don't they? In our history, in our education system, they certainly do. That's something I never heard of until I left school.
Well, it's not so much because, you know, I'm a mank and all that, but it's because as you look into it, you realise the repercussions of that event leading to people getting the vote, leading to the independent paper, or no, beg your pardon, the Guardian paper being born from that group of people as a medium for the people. That's how it started, and the knock-on, it went across the world, you know. And last year we talked about this on a previous station, and I got talking, and there was a person from America who said that they would talk about it in their school.
Yeah, that's how amazing it is. Because I mean, I think it was 15 or 16. I'll probably be corrected on it. 15 or 16 people, whether it was 15 or 16 or one person, lost their lives, and I know there's a few hundred injured. So it shows you the commitment and the passion and the convictions of people. Then I know that the electoral system was in its infancy then as regards this country. It was mainly the gentry and the aristocracy that got to vote. That was still an illusion today, isn't it? We might get the illusion of voting, but it doesn't make any difference to who we vote for. But it is, if you do find that a lot of our history like that is taught, especially in the States, and you find as well in Australia. It's like the Jarrow marches, you know, you don't hear about anything like that until after you leave school, and then you have to go looking for it. You know, there's a lot of things that ordinary people have achieved in this nation, and say brushed under the carpet a lot of it. Trying to make go on and waffling.
No, it's right. It's just all interesting. It's, you know, it's knowledge, and 18 people lost their lives, and estimated, and 700 people were injured as the militia sort of burst into the crowds who were peacefully protesting. So let's have it right. It wasn't an attack on a government building or anything. They just gathered together to peacefully protest about the way they were being treated. And I said, Alex, Lisa and I did a little interview, and just to mention that, you know, the trams going by, the traffic and people shopping, etc., walking around, and that made a loud enough noise. But if you consider 60,000 people in that same area with horses and people being slashed at, you can't comprehend it. And then to see, you know, 3 obelisks just there in commemoration, it's just sick, really, the more you think about it.
Yeah. As I said, it shows you the difference between, and you look at nearly 150 years ago, wasn't it? 1839, was it? 1838, 39? 1839. So I'd say this is important. Our education system should be, because the likes of that is useful to you in later life. It gives you a sense of pride of who you are and where you come from, and not just locally but nationally, what can be achieved if people actually put their minds to it. And I apologise there, because refer to it as in rebellion, and you're absolutely right, mate. It wasn't a rebellion at all. It was a peaceful gathering, actually. But instead of us getting some of the nonsense we're taught about spinning jennies and everything, you know, okay, yeah, it's a nice part of history, but the likes of that and other events similar to that, you know, they are important, and they do stay with you through your life, and it gives you that sense of pride and respecting your forefathers as well, which is, I think, is very important, especially in this day and age of what's happened to this country.
It's, you know, there's so many different nationalities walking around, and the youth of today, etc., you know, all included. There'd be so much different if it wasn't for those people on that day, and it's annoying really, because a lot of people will stick their hand in your face and say to where to go politely, some not so politely, some just don't want to know because they actually think you're selling something, and you can, you know, I don't blame that, because that's what happens, isn't it? Everywhere you walk, someone's sticking a flyer in your face, so you can understand that to a degree, but then it's the people that sort of laugh about the situation, or the older generation that must, you know, take your time to actually look around and look at the flyer and put it all together.
Yeah, you do find that. You find as well with visitors. I know with Manchester is the same as Liverpool. You do get a lot of visitors, as well as the old population being multi-race, but you get visitors from abroad, etc., from other countries, and you probably find they will take an interest as well. They read the flyers or stop for a few seconds to listen. But I say with the kids, the way it is today, and usually up to what, 30 years ago, if somebody was handing out flyers somewhere and they were either bullhorning or megaphoning or just speaking out, then you knew there was a purpose behind it. But today, you know, you've got lunatics walking around the streets dressed as hamburgers and hot dogs and things like that, handing out flyers, and you know, you've got young kids going around giving flyers up because of new bistro or restaurant or something, and it's just, you know, the younger ones, they just go, oh, here we go, here's another idiots that, you know, can't get a proper job and they're handing out flyers for something that, as you say, they're trying to sell something. They haven't got that attention span of going on and going, let's just listen to what's being said here. But I know it's a bit disheartening, but I think that's one of the areas that we have to work on, you know, mate, is the youth. I know Paul talks about that a lot, doesn't he? Go for it, you know, like, not everyone in general. Sorry, mate.
Yourself, parents, Paul works with the youth. I mean, I'm more inclined to agree with what you said earlier, that, you know, when we were kids, it doesn't matter what's going on unless it's on a computer screen. You probably weren't interested, you know, and again, that's more conditioned, because these things should be taught to you in school anyway. It shouldn't be something that you have to find out about yourself. These events, and we mentioned that, you know, and I just want to say well done to the people that sort of were there, because it's hard to hand out flyers. It's because you know the response you're going to get. It's a bit nerve-wracking, but I just, especially to Alex, he just, like I say, grabbed his megaphone and he stood there for 15 minutes shouting to the people, telling everyone that the slaves to wake up. This is what's happening. And you know, he offered me the megaphone. I told him where to stick it. You know, I said, you know, I can't do that. It does take some doing. Yeah,
he's an absolute star, Alex, isn't he? He just, I said it from the first time I heard him. He just tells it how it is, and that's it. And I mean, that's the best way to be with people. This tiptoeing round them, I've given up on that now, and I'm one of the most tolerant people that you ever wish to meet, but I've just given up on all that now. I just go straight for the jugular. I go like that. When they start complaining and moaning, bleating or whatever it is, I just say, what are you doing? Are you doing anything about it? No. Well, go away, because I am. And until you start doing something about it, don't be moaning about it. Don't be complaining, because all you are is being complacent with it and being a part of it by not doing anything. So I literally don't have time for people now, mate. I know it sounds terrible, but I think it's about time they got off their own arse and started doing something. Because I think it was Mum who said to me one time, he said, people need to realise that somebody does knock on your door and give you freedom and liberty. It's something you have, especially now, at this time, it's something you have to go out and get. You have to take it, or take it back, should be. And he's absolutely right. And people are still sitting there watching Jeremy Kyle and the X Factor and all that. That's all they're interested in. Leave them there.
Alex said the same. He was screaming out, "Stop watching you dancing on ice and you this, that, the other." But see, these people. The problem is, these people are the day that we have a curfew and nobody can be out of the house after 9:30, as depicted in the film V for Vendetta, which is this will happen. They were the first ones to start kicking up a fuss. And it's and then when you say, well, I don't like to say I've told you so, they'll still not admit to anybody saying anything. And that's these people. So this is what I've said about trying to wake people up. Let's just concentrate on the people that are waking up and who are active, because I agree with Alex. I'm at Alex and yourself, because Alex, within 5 minutes of talking to me, he said bastard about how many times, because he just hasn't got time for people anymore. The apathy and the neglect that they put forward, and he's completely right. And we can't sort of sit back now. Everything that we're doing through the station, everything that everybody else is doing, we need to be 100% of the time in everything we do. Otherwise, because I do feel it's up to us. And we've had two guests on, Ian Crane, Mark Passio, both said that both of them said individually, we are waking up at a rapid rate, but it's not fast enough. Yeah,
I agree with that. I also definitely agree with that. The amount of people that are waking up is unbelievable. But if you put it to the size of the population, just in this country, let alone worldwide, it isn't enough, and it's not fast enough. And this is one of the reasons why I don't have time for people anymore, is because I can see how quick people are waking up and how quick the system is bringing about what it intends, as you say, like the likes of the martial law and curfew. They could bring that in tomorrow. They could stage an event tomorrow, or bring out some form of legislation because that the problem reaction to solution. And within a week, you could. Well, there was curfews brought in. I don't know whether I think it did happen in Manchester and in London. I know certainly that happened here when the riots were on in the early 80s. They brought a curfew in then in Liverpool.
I'll tell you something about that. You probably already know this. I don't know how many people do know this, but in this country, when the last Labour government first got in, they brought new crime laws, and they actually gave all boroughs the power to enforce curfew. So it's already there. That was done a long time. I remember that sticking out, and actually thinking to myself, because I wasn't awake then, thinking that's great, keeps the kids off the streets. That was my thinking at the time. But now, knowing what I know and what you guys know, I'm thinking that's clever. So they were 10 years before knowing what's going to happen there. So all boroughs and councils can enforce tomorrow, as I understand it, curfew if they wanted to. The power's already there for them to do that.
Yeah. This is what I say over the party political issues. The main parties, the main two parties, and the Lib Dems, it doesn't matter which one it is. This isn't a party political thing. Labour have brought in as many draconian acts and laws as the Conservatives have. So it's not that people looking at this coalition government now and saying, oh, the Tories are back, no, them Tories going back to the 80s. Look at what the laws that came in, like I said, they were working on, the ID cards, last Labour governments, those the coalition government have done is repackaged it, renamed it, and they're bringing us through. The likes of the disappearing way, you can take it off the street under the Terrorism Act and disappear for, I think it's 20, I don't know, it's gone to 48 days now, it was 28 days, wasn't it, detention. And he just hold you, no due process, no charge, no trial, nothing at all, no evidence, just hold you for that amount of time on a suspicion that you might do something in the future, i.e. in, what was the film, mate? I can't remember, where you get, well, Tony Blair actually proposed it, where you get tried for crimes or arrested for crimes that you may commit at a later stage in your life. So absolute madness. Paul, I'll let you go soon, mate, because I know you've got a lot to do. We just wanted to come background a minute to this. I meant to mention it because you sparked something in my head before when you mentioned that the youngsters in the city centre and that. Maybe for future reference, if an event, any event or gathering or whatever it is, like today, and the Loverton come to mind as well, or things like it, beforehand, it may be worthwhile engaging with a few of the teenagers and 20ish, late 20s or something. And if a month ago or a couple of weeks ago, Alex, yourself, say, me, Lisa, or whoever, just a small group of us, had they gone like into a community centre or you know, where youths are, or just where you see them on the streets if they're playing football or something like that, whatever, and just stopped and talked to them for 5 minutes and just say, we're doing this, blah, blah, blah. Now, they might go like that as soon as you walk away, idiots, cranks. A couple of them might go, well, you know, they're right there. You know, we should know about these things. We weren't taught about these things in school. A couple of them might have been the ones that have walked past you today and go, oh, there's them fellas that we were talking to. Do you know what I mean, mate? It's just something to keep in mind. That we might.
I'm actually trying to do that. Setting up a talk in the church, local church hall. Local church hall. Asking for something like it was just under 150 quid for 3 hours to book a tiny hall. So yeah, you know, unbelievable. But yeah, I'm trying to get a little community sort of hall like that and do a talk just to see how many people turn up for the youth, you know, or go into a school and do a talk about that and see how far I get. Just as pure as an experiment. So yeah, I do agree with that, mate. It'd be a good idea unless you get somebody like I had yesterday asking for the time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. But I mean, but then that is ignorance, that as well. That's what we've got to take into account. Because I know when I was a teenager, I wasn't a very pleasant teenager, and I know that now. I knew that when I got a bit older, but I wasn't very pleasant. But I'm in the middle of something similar. But what I've done is, you know, like some of the pubs you get, they'll have a room off the main bar or something that basically never gets used. Sometimes it might get used for bingo or darts or something like that. But do you know what I mean, mate?
Yeah.
And I've been there, you know, the last couple of weeks, and it's my brother and myself, a couple of regulars from that pub that I know, and then there's like their kids, a couple of their kids who were awake, who I think I've spoken to about them before, you know, like in the early 20s, late 20s, early 30s, and then there's a couple, because there's that connection between our generation, their generation, and then the generation below them, and we're arranging it's an early evening, because some of the ones that'll be there will be like 13, 14 years of age, but they're allowed away from the bar area. They're not allowed in the bar area. They're with adults. They're obviously not going to be drinking, but they're away from the bar area because it's a separate room, if you understand what I mean. I know that through when I used to run pubs. And we've arranged that there, so it's not costing us anything. The older generation that are there, it'll probably be good for the bar because they'll probably get a few pints. Obviously, the younger ones, if you buy them, I don't know whether you buy them Coach or whatever it is, or crisps or anything, but I mean, they probably won't bother now that age. But what I mean is, there's that connection between the 3 generations, or even 4 generations, and that what we're going to be talking about is what we deal with every day. But I'm going to throw in a little talk over the local issues as well. What happens with their education system, because they're still in it, the social services with the families, obviously, you know, and things around there, and you know, sort of like getting into that. You know that you're inside the system, and when you come out of that education system, you're supposed to go into a work system, but be very, very, you know, you'd be very lucky if you actually get the chance to go into a work system. But you'll still be in a system if you're on benefits or you're going on job seekers or whatever. I don't know what they have for the kids now. I don't know how it works, but do you understand what I mean, mate? It's just trying to get that link between the generations.
See, for me, where I'm up to personally is, you know, turn off the TV or take over the TV, because that's the trouble. That's as we know, that's what's controlling people and the generations coming up. You know, we had 3 channels when we were growing up, and now they've got how many? You know, 80 odd channels that you can choose from, all telling them crap all the time, and that's what they're controlled by. So I think, you know, when we small groups going out there shouting at people and handing flyers out, it's hard. We'll wake up the odd person, but not as effective as what the TV's doing, and that's where we need to be. We need to be a medium for the people to listen, and a medium that will connect with the youth, in, you know, and be teaching them things about, you know, the Peterloo Massacre, etc.
Yeah, I found it a lot. It's a little bit easier for me because, over being a musician, I found a lot of connection because that just automatically goes right across. A couple of lads I've got in mind now who I've spoken to, the mother was at school with me. Her son, who's in his late 20s now, my brother taught him to play the guitar. His younger brother, who's now about 17 or 18, I not taught to play the drums, but set him off on it, if you know what I mean, and a little bit of guitar as well. And that connection automatically is there, without me talking about any of this. Do you know what I mean? The likes of that. There are parts of the media that you can use. Where football is another prime example. That cuts right across, or sports, cuts right across generations. So we can use some things that are inside the system to our advantage. Take them at the tools that are used against us, take them and use them in our favour, if you're with me on that.
If you put a football in the middle of a Premiership game and it had sprayed on it, stop the New World Order, you see what impact that would have across the whole world, right? And not just one. If that ball just found its way onto the pitch, stop the New World Order, it would be enough for everyone to go, type that in, just like they did when that arse for City Tevez lifted up his shirt and in Spanish he had something written across his undershirt there, and everybody went straight to the internet to type in what it was to translate it. Okay? Did you hear about that?
Yeah, but I don't know what it translated as. I remember there was something about it.
Everybody went straight to the internet to see what he actually written on those people who didn't understand what it was there in that language, and that's the power that football has. And again, it could be the same thing. You know, it's exactly the same, and that's I think that's all it would take, something like that. And like say music, sport, anything like that. But they do seem to pick these, you know, athletes, musicians, etc. that are towing the line. You don't hear any of these people speaking out.
Or if they are beforehand, they're totally compromised once they're in that system. Do you know what I mean? It's very few musicians, sports personalities. You very, very rarely get one that's got anything really useful or positive to say. But with musicians, you tend to get all songwriters, etc. But very few of them, again, have stayed outside of once to take. They're okay when they're shouting. Bob Dylan's one. He's just carried on doing exactly the same thing for 50 odd years. Well, most of them, they may be not so much rebellious, but aware of different things and write songs about serious issues, etc. before the mainstream. And once the mainstream, they just seem to flip right over. I don't know what the situation was with Muse. All of the music that I've listened to from them pre-Olympics, and then you get involved in something. I don't know. I still haven't figured that one out. What that was about.
I'll give you an example. Robbie Williams said a couple of years ago, watch the Zeitgeist film. He said, I like a bit of magic in my life. Watch the Zeitgeist film. That hits. He said, there's something in that and everything that goes with it. That suggests to me that the guy is awake to what's going on, and he wrote a song called Bodies, I think it was, in respect of that, to say he knows what's going on. Now, who was playing at the Olympics? It was Gary Barlow. Gary Barlow was the flavour of the month when it was completely opposite. It was all Robbie Williams. Now, see how times have changed, and it's the people. You see it with actors who speak up, who know what's going on. They disappear, and they're taken over by people who, as you said rightly, who told the line. If you're onto a good thing where you're earning millions a year, getting contracts left, right and centre, loved by millions for what you do, you're not going to rock the boat, I think. Yeah,
I think there's too many of them like that. I think there's a very, very small percentage who will stand outside of it and go, I'm not compromising my principles and my morals or my integrity just for, you know, a yacht and, you know, I'm sorted for the rest of my life. For me, what springs to mind for me is McCartney, and I've got a bit of a beef with McCartney. I love his music, etc., all that business, but I think he totally compromised. But I mean, that's another story. That's right.
No,
I thought I'd rant about him.
What was that comedian? He's gone straight out of my head. Very fast-talking comedian from the 80s. He was involved with the young ones. He co-wrote Blackadder.
Rick Bale.
No.
Adrian Edmondson.
No, forgive me. I forgot his name. He was had glasses. He used to do.
Oh yeah, Ben Allen.
Yeah, that's him. Now he had one set, and that's selling out because he was the zeitgeist at the time. He had everyone's attention, and he was saying it like it is, and then he turned into he's doing plays about musicals and you know, Queen and ABBA and all this, that, the other, whatever he was doing, and he sold out for you know, as you said, and so many people have been very, very close.
For the pieces of silver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay then, mate. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you go because I've got David coming on, and I think Martin, and then I've got Lisa back tonight. She got back from Manchester in time for the show. So I say, no, you've got a lot to do now, and you're always busy, but
well, cheers for that.
A lot to do.
Yeah, no problem. Cheers for that, George. Appreciate it, mate.
All right then, Paul. I'll catch up with you later. I'm going to play a song and then get Dave on after this. See you later, Paul.
Ciao.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
Okay, folks, our shows on CMR tonight are in tribute to a very close friend and a brother here at CMR, the wonderful, wise and loving Reverend George, who I miss so very, very much, and I still can't quite take in the fact that he's not with us anymore, because right now he'd be getting ready to step into the studio and he'd be making silly jokes about me leaving wine bottles and badger droppings in the studio, and I really do miss that. So, George, we really all do feel your presence here tonight, and we all missed you so very much. I'm going to finish the show off now, and I'll be back at 9 o'clock for the second half. I don't know if it's actually going to last 2 hours, but I'll see how it goes. But I'm going to give you all a 10-minute break now, and I'll be back very soon at 9 o'clock. So, bye for now, and see you all very soon. Right, just to say again, for anyone that wasn't listening in the first show, we have found out that George's funeral is going to be next week on Thursday. That's the 6th of December. And it is going to be a humanist funeral, and it's rather apt that it's on a Thursday, I think, with it being sort of like his night on CMR, so I kind of like that, again. We think it's about 3:30, but we will keep you updated with all the information here on the website and on the show, so anyone that wants to go, we'll let you know what's going on there. The rest of the show tonight, I'm going to basically fill up mainly with clips that I've got from all of sort of George's best bits and his humorous bits and his pearls of wisdom, mixed in with both his music and music that he loved. So again, it's very much a night here on CMR just for George, who was a very dear and loved colleague here. So coming up next, we've got a clip of humour from George.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
Okay, folks, welcome back. There's a lot to be said in that song. Well, I think the title actually says it all. I was informed by Paul Rippon that that's the longest song title that's ever been brought out in the pop charts, and I'll take his word for it. I thought it was if your chewing gum loses flavour on the bedpost overnight, but you know, I'll bow to his greater knowledge. Oh, Lisa should be there now. Hello, Lisa.
Good evening, Reverend.
Can I just explain one thing? I'm not a man of the creative, I never have been, just in case any new listeners thinking, oh, it's the Reverend and he's advocating lawful rebellion. Well, it could be a crazy man doing it, but no, I'm not. How are you?
You mean you're not wearing a dog collar? I'm disappointed now.
I'm wearing a dog collar, it's just not a crazy man. I will go into that. This is the beauty of radio, you see, nobody knows what you're wearing.
Absolutely. I'm saying nothing.
I can assure you though, I am wearing a bow tie, but not necessarily on my neck. So anyway, we leave that, let's get on with it.
I am rest assured now, thank you George for that.
Oh well, it might be this, might be no. He's got the documentation and the knowledge to back it all up. I think he's an excellent guest. And I've got a another great guest on for you now, mate. Your first guest, Lisa.
Hello, George. How are you?
Hi, Lisa. You okay?
You can actually hear me. Thank God.
Yeah, you can. Can you hear me and Paul?
I can hear you, Paul. Hi.
Lisa, great to have you here. You're right,
I can hear Paul too. Yeah, I'm just praying my Skype holds out.
Okay.
Oh, you'll be okay. So this is your start. We're going to have a regular start every week, aren't we, Lisa?
Apparently, sometimes I wonder why I agree to these things, because I think it's taking years off my life, I tell you.
I think I've been bullying you a bit, haven't I?
I just talked into.
Okay, so Lisa, you can basically take the floor now. You talk what you're going to talk about, and when you want me to play the clips, because I'm in control of the clips here, you just let me know, my love.
Okay,
So you go for it.
Well, I made a pact with myself this week that no matter how bad things look in the outside world, I'm just going to keep smiling. And we've got to keep our spirits up, folks, and help each other, because sometimes it all just sounds so really, really bad, but we have to rise above it. And as George Carlin used to say, he looked at it all as purely entertainment.
Oh, sadly. So we have to maintain our humour. It's the British way, that.
You'll help us with that, George, definitely.
What do you mean, Lisa? You've been told to Paul, and he always laughs at me. When I'm trying to be serious with him, I can hear him giggling in the background, you know. Nobody takes me seriously. Sorry, Lisa, go on, it's your spot, go on, Lisa. I'm shutting up now.
Did you want?
Okay, so I am reliving some of my best bits with George on here tonight, so please forgive me for being self-indulgent, but it's just something I felt I wanted to do. That was my very first radio spot, and it was thanks to George that I got started on radio here in CMR, because I was very reluctant about coming on, because I do suffer with nerves a bit, although I did feel a strong urge to get on and to start trying to spread information, because all of the hosts here feel it's our duty to do that. So George kindly offered me a short guest spot on his show back in July, and he basically twisted my arm about coming on. So I decided that I could just about handle it if I was on with someone else, and George was there for moral support, and that's how it all started, really. So thanks, Mucker, for having faith in me and giving me that break. I just wish I could carry on sharing my Thursday spot with you, because, matey, it just don't feel the same, really.
You're saying it sounds all fluffy and everything, but yeah, there are situations or events that happen in your life that do make you take a step back and, you know, look at the bigger pictures, if you will, and think, you know, well, is there more, or, you know, can I be more than I am, or, you know, it's hard to explain, especially for me, you know, but I know where you're coming from with it, yeah.
I think it's when you do feel that you're doing everything right in life, and you are working, and you are bringing in money, and you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, but you're still not being able to meet the demands that you have to meet, and every waking moment of your life is taken up with worry and stress about, can I afford to live, basically, and that is just not right, is it?
No, that's what the system, how the system wants you to live, wants us all to live, to be on that treadmill, like I think I've used the analogy before, the hamster in the wheel, just going round and round in circles and get absolutely nowhere.
That's right, and it's also about keeping us in that lower vibration, because whether people think it's airy-fairy or not, I certainly believe this, that there is energy is the ruling force in this world, and there is positive energy and there's negative energy, and if you let the negative energy take you over, then you're giving in, one, to the people that are trying to control us, but you're also putting yourself in a bad place. And we have to rise above this, and until we actually realise this and rise above this, I don't think anything will get better, personally.
I think what you're saying here, over energies or vibrations, whichever description anybody wants to give it, but we all feel it, because we only have to walk into a place and we can feel atmosphere, whether it's a good atmosphere or it's a negative atmosphere, whether it be in a pub or in, you know, within our daily lives. If family, if people have been arguing or things like that, you can feel an atmosphere without words being said. So obviously there is something there. There's something in it.
But it's not even just that. It's more, I mean, even just listening to Mark's show last night, on here last night, when he was reading from the papers, and he was doing like a review of all the papers of the day, and it was almost entertaining. It's all bad news, it's all doom and gloom, and let's all get depressed and slit our wrists. And because that's the way they want us to be. They want us all to be in this lower dimension, because it works for them and it works for their control pattern.
Yeah, so keep us in sort of like a state of continual stress and depression, and they know that this works on people. They tend to think that a person can only handle two stressful situations in their life at once, i.e. moving house, going through a divorce, things like that. And what they tend to do is, in the news, or the mainstream news, is they will put out all doom and gloom, and they put really heavy stories out. And the ones that aren't as heavy as those are still depressing. And you know, you don't ever look at that ticker bar or whatever it is that goes along the bottom of any of the news programs, and there's just nothing at all. The only release in that is it'll be sport, you know, about whether it be football, cricket, the Olympics or whatever.
Yeah, but quite often that's depressing because England always loses.
well, that's another thing. But I mean, that is like the break. That is the break, and that is the inanity of it. Is that you know, to give it all the depression, all the disasters, all this more or less every other day you're seeing parents killing their own children, things like that, or you know, young children being killed, abducted, murdered, you know, and then in between that they'll have a little flash of what they want us to believe is normality. Oh well, you know, England are doing well in the cricket, or you know, it's so, from our perspective, it's so obvious. But I just look at people and go, you know, you just don't realise what you're being fed, how you're being programmed by that box.
And that in itself is a little bit depressing when you realise, isn't it? And you see it all happening around you. It's so hard, isn't it?
Well, when you see people sitting in front of it, the jaws slack, you know what I mean? And you know, to us, it is so obvious. And I can look at it in an objective way. But, you know, I don't know, they are literally hypnotised by it. Yeah. Mesmerised. Exactly. And it's just feeding and feeding, getting programmed, updated, uploaded, everything. With what the criminal ruling class want to feed them. And they lap it up. It's a shame.
They do, George, they do.
dark years have gone since you first came along. Now I'm waking and seeing the light. Don't go, don't go.
Well, that was another one of George's creations, and as Ben just said, that really was his style, wasn't it? That was called Sleeping Aliens. And I know George was a real whiz on the guitar, and sadly, I never actually heard him, and I so regret that. I'm going to play the next track I'm going to play now, because this show's all about music and George, really. So George and I, going to work on the next track together, because he could play it and I could, well, kind of sing it, and we were going to have a go together. And again, I just so regret I never got the chance to do that.
You don't realise.
So I got me puss bit in anyway.
Pardon? Got what in?
Me puss bit.
Oh, sorry.
I did.
Good job at the end of the night.
I just wanted to make a point of that, because I think it is a very important issue, because basically we as a society have dairy produce thrust upon us so much in everything. It's milk, it's cheese, it's just there in everything, ice cream, yogurt, and it's, as I said before, Santos Bernanke sums it up very well. There's only one disease in this society, and it's all based on mucus, and it's what we're being fed.
And as says, as well as information, people need information. Do you?
Yes.
It's not just for a station like this or for any of the hosts, and we know we can get it more or less everywhere, but people do really need to turn off the TV and start researching themselves about all of this.
Sure do.
If not for themselves, if they've got children, definitely for the children. What they're feeding the children.
Yes.
What they're letting the children drink, whether it be water, the clip I played earlier on, the fluoridation of the water, or the drinks that they're purchasing in shops and supermarkets.
I think it's fair enough to say, George, that probably everything you buy, probably everything you buy in a supermarket is going to be bad for you to all intents and purpose.
Well, it is very, very hard to get away totally from all of the poisons that are put out there for us. I mean, Bisphenol, I was going to do a show on Bisphenol, like, because it's in absolutely everything from food to clothing, to bedding, to furniture, your three-piece suites, your cushions, everything, your pillows, everything it has got Bisphenol. It's like a 21st century asbestos, and it's unbelievable. And aspartame, Andy done a show, has done 2 shows, I think.
He has.
Focusing on aspartame.
Yeah.
I listen to Fridays, and the products or the drinks and the foods that aspartame's in, it's unbelievable, and people need to get wise to it and research it for themselves and see what they're actually eating and drinking. It's unbelievable, and we wonder why the diseases.
Sorry, George. It's the old adage, isn't it? What you put in, you get out. You get back. So.
Yeah. Well, your body reflects. I know there's certain medical conditions and etc. And we all have our own personal traits. As we may be large, small, medium, in between, whatever. But when you see, especially with the TV again goes on and on and on, say about obesity, and then in between them saying about that, they're advertising McDonald's and all kinds of crap. It's unbelievable.
How much proof do you need of the hypocrisy? Right, anyway, George, but we are very much getting to the end now, so, and I tell you what, matey, I don't know about you, but I'm starting to feel that I've entered a sort of an alternative CMR universe here. It's kind of like a sort of radio dream world. What about you?
It's on Monday night.
We're just talking about CMR, we're just addicted, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, and it should be addictive. It should be the only addictive addiction that people have.
Yeah.
CMR, Critical Mass Radio, should be an addiction. I'll go along with that one. Not many addictions. I've got a terrible problem with tobacco, me, that. But no, I think CMR should be an addiction for people. Yeah.
It needs to be. Yeah. Well, it is fun. I mean, it's all been done for a purpose, and it's a very important purpose. But we've got to try and enjoy it along the way as well.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
I had to laugh, Rev. I had to laugh. I said to you earlier when I was getting stuff ready for tonight, and I was sorting out the music, and I wanted to get the signature tune sorted out, the T-Rex one, and I was putting it into the studio, and I just named it T-Rex Children of Rev, and it just made me laugh. And it just went off almost because I was laughing these socks off. When little things just make you laugh.
How old do you think I am? Children of Rev. That.
Track on now, George, and I'll carry on afterwards, yeah?
Yeah, excellent, Lisa.
Okay.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there about the likes of the Diggers, the Poverty, Ashton, allotments, activists, the ladies that I was speaking to 2 or 3 weeks ago, which they from Squash Nutrition, who have got the bee colonies going.
Yeah.
Half a mile away from where I am now.
Oh, right.
And these are all very important. What's going on internationally is obviously important. What's going on nationally, but we should also concentrate on things like this because
community-wide is very, very important.
Yeah, it's grassroots, isn't it, Lisa?
Absolutely, yeah.
And we should support them, obviously, and they're leading by example. I think we a lot more of us need to take the same direction that these people are taking.
Completely agree.
I salute them, mate. So
that's the way forward. We have to do it in little bits all over the place to make the difference.
Yeah, we have to do it ourselves.
Yeah. Right, okay, so what I was going to say, one of the things that George and I had hoped to do together was a show on Egypt, and it was something very close to his heart because he'd read so much about it, and he'd done a course on it too. And I've got to say, he was literally like a walking library because he had so much information in his head. And I was really, really looking forward to finding out more from him about everything. And that's why it's so hard to take in this opportunity's been taken away from me because I just hate that so much. We were going to start having so-called Bible classes so he could actually help me interpret the true meanings hidden in there too. And sometimes you think you have all the time in the world, but I guess this is something that we all think sometimes, and maybe it's something we shouldn't all think, I guess. Love that track. Absolutely love that track. Hope you did too, Mucker. Right, I've got my first ever call. And you'll never guess who it is. Hopefully this will work. Hello?
Hello.
Hiya.
How you on?
You're right.
Yeah, right. Just a quick one, Lisa. Hi, guys, to everybody out there. Guys, I just want to say, and to you, Lisa, I just want to say thank you for putting this show together. I know that you spent like a day and a half sectioning everything and editing everything. It's really well done what you've done. I know it's affecting you, it's affecting all of us, but we all appreciate you at the station and everything you do. And I just want to say at this time, thanks very much, hon. I know you're going through a bit in your personal life, and we're all here for you as well. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. But I did it for George.
Well, I know you did, hon, but I just want to say thank you. So, right, that's me. I'm out of here. I'll speak to you later.
Is that it? Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right. Ciao. Bye-bye.
All right, then. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I go along with that, because it's something that struck me when I was listening to Michael, on the Peace of Mind show, and he talks a lot about meditation. Now, it's something I've never done, or up until lately, that I thought I've never done, but I've got a feeling that I'm not aware that I do, because I'm only 5 minutes away from the River Mersey.
Yeah.
And I take walks for hours and hours and hours, because it's just a straight run, and I just walk along there, and sometimes you go through woods, forests, and then you can come back right onto the edge of the river, and I call it empty. Like when I'm a bit stressed or something, I call it emptying my head into the river, because I just let my thoughts go. And maybe it only occurred to me on Monday when Michael was talking about it, and I thought, I wonder whether that's my form of meditation, if you like, because it seems to be one.
That's exactly what it is, because basically our heads are so filled with distraction, stress, distraction all the time. And when you go into an area of natural beauty and nature, you just kind of relax, because all those things, this is what nature does for us purposely. It takes all these things away from us to heal us. And this is what it actually does for us. And this is what everyone's forgotten.
Well, I find it a lot. Now, after I've been speaking with Paul Giovanni for about half an hour, I have to go for about a 6-hour walk. Oh, sorry, Paul. I thought
George has just got the sack.
That's it. I'm converting all your files to Barry Manilow now.
Hey, you done that the other week, Paul, didn't you? When I was off air for 15 or 20 minutes. You done that deliberately so you could play Manilow on my show, didn't you?
Right, and I'm hosting Dan's after, and the first hour is his interviews, and after that it's my time, baby. So yeah.
You've had it, George. I've switched off now about you.
I'm going to get blitzed then. I'm going to get completely blitzed. Lisa, you've got a clip.
I love the way you used to say that. I'm going to get completely bricked now. Love it. Okay, right. I don't actually remember when we first decided to nickname Thursday Night Scouse Night, but it just kind of happened. Got to be honest and say that I've never actually considered myself a Scouser, to be quite frank. But hey, I was quite happy to be loved in with George. It was an honour. So, and I loved the whole Scouse bashing thing. And I tell you what, if we don't laugh in these times of hardship, folks, as I said before, we're all flipping stuffed anyway. So there you go.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
Okay, folks, welcome back. I think that was a lively debate, good discussion, and I think it raised a lot of issues, that didn't it, as well. Paul, are you still there, mate?
I am.
And I think we've been joined by our Lisa.
Good evening, Jingle George.
George of the Jingle. Hey, I tell you what, it definitely has been a Scouse night tonight, hasn't it? Hey, we've took over.
About time, innit? About time.
Scousers occupy Critical Mass Radio. I tell you what, though, you know what? No, with Tony there, I know when you've been on the show previously, sir, but Scousers won't shut up, will they? Really?
Oh, me.
I only realised a few weeks ago when you started coming on the show, and I thought, oh no, just Lisa. And then when Tony as well, he would probably be laughing at me now for saying it. But once Scouse has started, he just won't stop, will he?
Are you trying to tell me something here, Mucker?
Hey, I tell you. And I just messaged Paul there while our song was on, or while the two songs were on, and I said, Paul, I know what you have to put up with now. With me, and probably with you as well. You can't get a word in edgeways.
I think Paul's alright. You alright, Paul?
Yeah, well, you see, I only get 2 hours sleep anyway, so I can wait for all that, no problem.
So, I tell you what, Lisa, the first show went great, didn't it?
Well, I'm not going to say anything.
I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was great. Yeah. Only a couple of little technical hitches, but I mean, I've done every 5 minutes, mate, with the technical hitches, so I thought you'd done great.
Oh, thanks very much. I've not come on to talk about my show anyway, but thank you.
So what are we talking about then?
Well, no, I just thought I'd come on and end the Scousers night with Scousers, basically.
Right, well, I'll tell you what, we'll give it about another, say we've got another, 20 minutes on air. Give it 5 minutes to go, we'll have a fight, eh? That'll be a race. It'll be a race, Scouse night down, won't it? Finish it. Are you up for that one, Paul?
It just feels like being an episode of Brookside here. I'm completely lost.
George, you're giving us a bad name here.
I know it. No, it's not me, it was Alex last night. Alex would be sitting in his shed now with a shotgun, waiting for the door to open. Because a message today saying I need a new lawnmower. So I think I've got him on guard over the shed.
Oh dear. Anyway, I will say I really did enjoy that before. I was very nervous beforehand, and you feel your heart's gonna just explode. But once you've done a little bit, it's not too bad, is it?
No, it's for me. It's always just opening the show.
Yeah.
It's them first couple of minutes. When it starts, after 5 or 10 minutes, I'm okay. Then do you know what I mean? Especially when there's somebody, a guest or whatever that I'm talking to, because. It's when you're sitting there talking to yourself, it's unnatural, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, but what actually scared me was the fact of having a guest on, because you have to, that bit where the guest's talking and then they suddenly stop and you've actually got to come up with a question then, and you haven't got one ready and you're like, oh my God, that's the bit I was frightened of. Yeah,
it is difficult when you're not face to face with it, how internet radio works, because you're separate as hosts and we're separate with the guest, so you're not actually looking, so you can judge a person, can't you? If you actually have a discussion with a person, you can sort of judge when they're going to finish speaking and when you can start. So that's you tend to either interrupt when you shouldn't be, or you get that little pregnant pause, don't you, where you're waiting for the guest to carry on and then you go, oh, hang on, it's my turn now. Exactly. I've got a hand to you though, George, to handling 3 Skype calls at once or whatever. That is really brave. All it is really is sort of knowing you see them on the television. I'm just going to jump in here, and I'm just going to jump in here. But as I just said, with another Scouser, and you know what you see, you know yourself, you know the score. Paul, no, you just, you haven't got it on off switch. If you did, you could just go off and then carry on, couldn't you? Are you still there, Mucker, or have you nodded off or what?
No, I just, it's like you say, I'm just, I like to say it's Scouts night tonight, so I'm just taking a step back because I've got no choice.
Oh, so you put extra locks on the door? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm just thinking we've got Leeds, Liverpool, Manchester. We've got the North. We need to get Newcastle up next, don't we? We need to be working on getting them lot up and running.
Phil, gotta get Phil.
Gotta get Phil on.
and a Brummie. We need someone from Birmingham, don't we?
Yeah, we need a Brum, don't we?
Yeah. And we could get someone from Scotland, I suppose, but you can't.
We've got Ben from Cambridge, so Cambridge is looked after.
Yeah, we've got the South. Yeah, and we've got Cockney on. We haven't got any.
Hang on, where's Andy from? Andy Peacher.
Andy's Lincolnshire, isn't she?
Right.
Isn't he? Should say she. He. He won't thank me for that one.
And we've got.
Guys, sorry, go on.
So we've got Chris Bowlby as well. I think he's a Southerner, is he? Chris Bowlby on a Monday night.
Yeah, sounds it, yeah. So, us we did, I was at get Phil on, Geordie, and a Brummy, and we're laughing, we've got it sorted.
So are we going to unite this kingdom then? Is that the plan?
Well, they got a United Kingdom, we're going to disunite
Let's unite the kingdom.
Yeah. Get it. So you could get a Glaswegian on both, they're worse than Scousers, you just don't understand the word of them. I still don't understand Alex Ferguson. Been at Man United for 20 years. Can you, Paul?
I can understand every single word, apart from on Monday night, I couldn't understand the word.
Yeah, well, that's understand. Oh, yeah, we haven't spoken on air since about Monday night. What happened there, mate? I believe you got beat by Everton, didn't you?
I was doing a show, I didn't see any of it.
I don't. I get messages in there.
yeah, I know you did. No, it's we've got to go back to football, and we're slow starters, Manchester United. We still need to spend another 50 million, and when we buy Fellaini, then we'll be right, good to go.
Yeah, you wish. You couldn't even buy Baines.
Just 50 million, Paul, is that all?
Sorry,
yeah.
Lisa, it's all
Just 50 million pounds, that's all.
Well, yeah, like you say, this is the unattractive part of football and the way it's going. I was saying that with Phil on Saturday. It's just, and that's what's spoiling football. But it's still my one and only vice. But anyway, there you go.
It is mine with the New World Order. Well, apart from me, John Smith's and me Smokes, they're two more vices. And not loose women, so certainly not. No, the football still my vice. But I think
you've got a few there, actually.
A few what?
A few vices.
Only John Smith's, tobacco, and football. It's not bad for a man of my age. 35.
Oh dear.
What were you laughing at there? I said 35. Were you laughing at, Lisa?
No, I wasn't laughing at it.
37. I'm jesting. So, Paul, what do you think about Lisa's first show tonight then?
Well, like I say, I mean, I used to sit here on my own doing Future Star Radio, and for about eight months I talked to myself. So I know it's very, very hard, and I have done shows where I forgot to put the mic on and 45 minutes in realised, and I wondered why I wasn't getting very popular. And then you move up, you keep at it, and you learn. And it's very hard. It's very, very hard, but it's very addictive as well. And once you've done your first show, and you've got that out of the way, it's very liberating and it's addictive. But I think the subject matter that we deal with is addictive, and it's our turn now. I keep saying it, and onwards and upwards. I think we've got a fantastic call. Lisa's done, but to be honest, we all knew you do well, Lisa. And because you've got the material there as well. You come across well. You're hardworking, so. There's a commitment that you need with doing a show, and it's not the sort of thing you can finish and then leave to the day before. You saw a week with you, isn't it?
Yeah. I think there was no doubt in anybody's mind that Lisa would be able to do the show. So I don't want to get anyone who's heard it before. No, I'm just complimenting you. The people that I've spoken to, they just said yes, she's going to be great, and you were.
Thanks, guys.
And you've got a radio voice as well. Sorry, Lisa.
No, it's okay. Thanks very much. I appreciate what you're saying. I mean, at the end of the day as well, the most important thing is we're not doing this for ego. We're not doing it for anything else other than we want to get the information out there. And that is why we're doing it. That is why we pay to do our shows. And that is the only reason, because we really genuinely do want to make a difference in this world. And that's what actually spurs us on.
Yeah, what just come to mind there? Paul, what about... Kevin, and that's not a lot, what about throwing a show this way?
No, we've sorted it tonight with what we've got together and just talking to his man, if you like, and we're going to get the shows sent to us in MP3, and hopefully, you can help me with that and get it uploaded onto Blog Talk in the sections, and he will be playing the shows, so we'll be playing shows every week.
I've got to call it. Oh, I just had to call it, and for 10 seconds it went off. Wonder who that was? Nobody ever calls me.
Be another man trying to get a word in edgeways.
No, what it'll be? It'll be the local pub, because I normally finish at 10 o'clock and go for a couple of pints. So they'd be wondering where I am.
Old Red Eyes is back.
Sorry, 9 o'clock I normally finish and then go for a couple of pints at 10. So they'd be wondering where I am.
Just getting back on that point, though, that is what it's all about. It is all about all of us that are doing radio stations need to unite. We don't need to see it as an entity for just promoting ourselves. We all need to do this together, because if we're all going to do what we need to do, we have to do it together. Sorry, I'm getting boring now, aren't I?
No, it's right. It's right, because sorry to cut in, we've got Awaken Radio last night, Awake Radio, beg your pardon, and spoke to them, and they do seem genuine in their attempt to spread the word and unite people. There are a lot of stations, believe me, and there are a lot of hosts out there, believe me, that aren't interested in uniting. They just like to listen to themselves and get out there. And it's a shame. It's funny, a lot of the ones who like to listen to themselves are quite sort of well known, and I'm not interested in that at all. It's about the message and uniting, and a good message with a mass behind him becomes a great message, and that's how we move forward. Like you've all said it, everyone's saying it, all the hosts are saying it, all the listeners are saying it. We need to be a worldwide station.
And connected as well, yeah. Definitely connected with other stations and with other groups, organisations, with whatever it may be. Because they've worked that on us for centuries, if not longer. Divide and rule, we know that. We all say divide and rule. And while we're disconnected, even if we're all doing great work in our own separate little spheres, while we're disconnected, it's not going to happen. We definitely need that connection and to work with each other, whether it's different stations, different hosts, different organisations, whatever. As I always go back to, and I mention all the time, like the unions do, you might have your own little union with your own little disgruntled bunch of people who've got the grievances in one place, but once a general strike comes along or a certain issue comes along, then you go, yeah. And they're all there with the different banners, the different areas, the different unions, but they're all solidarity. Poland, perfect example, like Valencia, Solidance, and look what happened there.
Well, even in that clip I played tonight, George, it's basically saying that the only time people really unite is when a really bad tragedy happens, or a war, or a natural disaster, and people naturally unite then, but it takes something like that for it to happen.
Yeah, well, the last big march or big demonstration in this country was against the Iraq War. I think there was after that was the Iraq War, wasn't it? I think there was 2 million on the streets of London, or 1.5 million. But I don't want to wait around till World War III's on the cards, and then people say, "Oh, we'll have to get on the streets." Too late then. Let's get there. We always sit back. Paul Rippon says it, don't react, act. And I believe that's true. Don't wait for somebody else. Don't sit back and wait for them to do something. Let's get in there first and do it ourselves before.
Absolutely.
Before it's too late and we go, all right, then we have to react to what they've done now. No. The problem, look, if that's for me and not in, I'm going to play a song and then we come back after this, because I've only got about just on 10 minutes after, haven't I, Paul, yeah?
Okay.
I'm alright for 11 tonight, aren't I, yeah?
Yeah, that's it.
I don't want to finish early. Okay, I'm going to play a little song and then we'll be back after this. Yeah, I'm here.
Right, just before we discuss that Stefan Molyneux audio, I'm just going to play a track now, and you're probably going to murder me off air for this one.
Go on.
I was going to play it for the boss, but
not Barry Manilow, is it?
Kinda. I was going to play it for the boss, but I don't think he's listening now anyway, because I think he's gone to bed, but he might listen on podcast back later on. It's kind of on that theme, but not quite, and you'll understand when I play it, and it's only very short, so don't worry, you won't have to suffer for too long. So just bear with me, Rev.
I'll take the headphones off.
No, leave them on, tell me what you think.
Go on then.
Well, I hope that wasn't too painful, George. I thought that was quite a nice rendition, actually.
Yeah, lovely that, yeah. Was that you playing the guitar?
I wish. I flipping wish. No, it was something I got off YouTube, just an instrumental version, and I just thought it was really nice. I love the guitar. Yeah,
lovely that.
Is that the kind of stuff you play, is it, Rev? No.
I'm a bit of an old rocker, aren't I? Yeah, I do I have my mellow moments, yeah, and I go into stuff like that, but since I lost my hair, I just, you know, I try to recapture my youth and rock out on them.
Since I lost my hair.
It wasn't an operation or an accident, it just fell out. Most of it ended up in the plug hole or in the Hoover bag.
Oh, I'm just composing myself. Right, moving on. Okay, so getting back to that video from
I'm thinking of Brian May comes on your show to discuss over the
badges.
The colour of the badges. I'm going to ask him where he gets his wigs from. And I might get one myself.
Risky question, that definitely.
I used to have hair like him. Tell you. When I was about 20 odd, I had hair like Joan Collins, and I've got hair like Phil Collins. So I don't know what happened in between. But anyway, I digress.
I'm trying to be serious. Right, moving on. It's okay, I'll let you. Right, getting back to that last video.
You know what? He did it every single time. He turned me into a bloody wreck. So that was classic George, always managing to turn me into a giggling, squealing idiot on air. But I did love him for that. And I've got to say, he had this knack for infusing the most serious topics with a laugh, which, again, I think is completely essential for those of us who know how things really work out there, because without that, it's just all way too much, as many of you know. So coming up now, I've got another track by the Reverend himself, and this is called Wake Up Call.
Lisa.
Hello, hello.
That's
I'm
inspirational, isn't it?
It's brilliant, isn't it? It basically brings to life the things that we should all be concentrating on, respect in this world, and the things that will probably save us, I reckon.
I thought it was brilliant. And I can listen to the man, and it's his voice as well. I find that the YouTube a little bit distracting because of the visual side of it, whereas when I edited the clip for you, and I played it right the way through just to make sure it was okay, and then I found myself playing it again, and I just closed my eyes and listened to the man's voice and what he was, obviously the ambient noise in the background, the stream and what have you.
Yeah.
But to me, that's another form of meditation. I could listen to him for hours.
Yeah,
absolutely
he's
wonderful.
But I tell you what, George, it's his eyes as well. When you actually watch him and you watch his eyes, and it's a bit scary. You can tell that he's actually not from here. Well, I won't go into it anymore, but you need to watch it. But there's something about him.
Yeah, you can see his spirit, his soul's laid bare, isn't it? Basically, you can see. You say the eyes are the windows to the soul, and you can see that with the man. But just when I played the clip back, and I just closed my eyes for about 5 minutes or so, I know the voice overtook me as well. His voice and the words, the way he articulates his words, absolutely wonderful.
He's absolutely genuine. Yeah.
Okay,
thanks, George. Anyway,
I'm going to have to let you go. Are you going to say, hang on before you go, don't rush off, yeah? Are you going to say goodbye to Paul or what?
Yeah, bye, Paul.
See you.
Not going anywhere, though. See you later.
Okay, Lisa, if you will, can you end the call from your end, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll speak to you later, my love.
Sure, all right.
Great having you, and you're here every week now.
Okay.
Brilliant. All right, my love. See you later.
Bye, George.
Bye. Okay, the LA's there, or as we say in Liverpool, or that was for Paul Giovanni, that. Hope you like that one, mate. Okay, folks, welcome to the show. Tonight, as Lisa said, another great show there by Lisa, by the way. Well done, girl. She's a professional now after 2 shows. I'm still trying to get there after about 12, I think. But anyway, as Lisa said, we'll be delving into the world of biometrics tonight. It's just become so prevalent in society today. It's a bit like the creeping in of the surveillance cameras, and no one would have thought that it got to the stage that it has, especially in this country where you can't go anywhere. And I think it's, something like 400 times a day. If you walk in public places, you're getting filmed or you're on some form of surveillance system. And I think they're doing the same with the biometrics. I think they're bringing it in slowly, incrementally, as usual. I hope we must get us used to it. And I think within 12 months, it'll just be the norm. Wherever you're going to be going, you need, if you're in employment, you're going to need a thumbprint, iris scan, face recognition. All the technology that's there already in place that my guest tonight and I will be talking about. Pippa's going to be doing a slot on the show each week at segments, same as Lisa done before she jumped ship and went for her own glory. I should be laughing now. Yeah, Pippa's going to be doing a slot, but I just thought to ease it and let you get to know her. She was on a show a few weeks ago speaking about the Act in Parliament that she did get amended, which was for the data, the biometric data that was being taken from children in schools without the parents' permission or consent. Excuse me. Pippa campaigned for a thing which has done 6 years and got to change that. Parents were to be given the right to either give the consent to the kids to be the biometric data to be taken or not, as is their right. So we done a Skype call last night, Pippa and I recorded it and I broke it down into segments. I'm going to be playing through the show, so we'll move on to that just after this. Tonight's show Right, we're going back to the round table format that we done a few weeks ago. There'll be myself, Pippa will be joining me as usual, and David Lloyd, who's joined us on the show a few times. We basically, David, by the way, is a contributor to the Planet F show on City Talk Radio in Liverpool, FM station on a Sunday night. That's a great show as well. Anyone wants to catch him on that. And what we basically do is we put up a couple of topics, throw a couple of topics in there, and we just go with the flow. We just see where the discussion takes us.
Okay, that was just a snippet to try and emphasise the kind of discussion that George used to promote, which was very much around the table thing, which was great. It worked really well on his show, and he had it off to a T, I think. I'm still finding this quite hard tonight, actually, taking over a spec. It just feels really weird to me, so I'm struggling a bit, but anyway. I think what I've tried to do tonight is get a broad selection of George's opinions, which I think, in my view, are invaluable insight into how things really work. And I think he really knew his stuff, and he had this amazing insight that I think wasn't obvious when people first heard George speak. It wasn't obvious, but when you got to know him, you realised that you saw past, and I hate to say this, but that's what most of us do. We tend to go with accents and how people present themselves, and he didn't come across the way that he really was, but he did once you knew him, because he knew so much. And I also wanted to emphasise and show that the humorous side of him that we all love so much, because he did have this amazing humour, and, well, you can hear it. It's just there, isn't it? And he was the king of the round table format here on CMR, and he had some fantastic group discussions on his shows. And I was always amazed at how well he coped with having so many people Skyping him all at once, because I panic over one, but he seemed to love it. And again, he and I were slightly different with our preferred kind of formats for shows, I've got to say, because he was very much one for having guests and other hosts on, which kind of helped him and made him feel more comfortable, whereas I felt, well, I suppose it's because I'm a bit of a control freak, I always felt a bit kind of more awkward having people on, and I preferred to do my own stuff because it made me feel more in control. But we're all different, and hopefully we all complement each other here with different styles. And I did feel that that's what George and I did on Thursday nights, because we did have different ways of doing things, but it kind of worked. And I think after speaking to Paul and to Pippa, I feel that we do want to keep Thursdays here very much as the Prisoner Show broadcast on Thursday nights, and we want to kind of keep the same format as much as we can into the foreseeable future for now anyway, and carry on in George's name. So that's what we're going to try and do between all of us. Keep it the same, really. I don't quite know how we're going to do it, but we'll do our very best anyway.
I did say this is ad hoc, and it is, and just while that song was on, I was going to bring Lisa on, and I forgot. So what I'm going to do is try and get her, if you bear with me, try and get her added to the call now. You'll hear all kinds of strange noises. And hello.
Hello.
Oh, that was okay, wasn't it? Wasn't that smooth? Wasn't that a smooth transition? You normally get all kinds of mad ringtones and everything else. And you just came on straight away. Waiting in the wings.
I was listening in stereo then with two things going at once, which is why I was a bit confused.
It usually does, when you've got stereo. It is normally two things, as opposed to mono. As opposed to mono where there's only one going.
Okay, smart ass. What I mean is...
So we sorted that out. So you've been having problems with your internet as well, haven't you?
Yeah, but it's not that. It's just I was listening to the show you see normally, and then when you call through Skype, I get it again, so I had to twice.
The echo thing.
The echo.
Sorry, I finished a bit sooner than I thought it was going to finish. I'm just really just putting snippets in here that were kind of like my best bits. So I'm sort of running out of steam now, so I'm going to start to wrap things up in a moment. Go off a couple more music tracks to play. I'm going to finish with a couple of music tracks that I hope... all I'm trying to say is I hope I've managed to make this a fitting tribute for one of the nicest, down-to-earth, caring guys that I've ever met, and I'll never get over losing you, George. You've touched all of us who knew you, and you were and you are an amazing, wonderful person who was here for a reason, and of that I'm sure. We all feel that you've been taken away from us far too soon, and it hurts us all to the core, it really does, and we're kind of angry and confused as to why that's happened at the moment, and we don't know. Who knows how the universe works? I mean, I like to think that in some ways that things work out for a certain reason and that everything's planned and that your time with us has been here for a reason again. And it's hard right now to think that way because I just feel robbed. I really do. It really hurts. But I think if I don't go with my gut and feel that this has all been for a reason, then I'm letting myself down. So you will live on in all of us forever, and you know that anyway. And I hope that you'll always be somewhere listening to us on Scouse night and every other night. And I thank you for everything you've given to us and everything that you've achieved. And as I say, again, you'll never, ever be forgotten. And I'm just going to play a track now. This is from me to you, George, because I love you from my heart. You're a very, very special person, and I'll never forget you. And I miss you like hell. And this is for you.
George will join me now in saying a good night to you all. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've got something from tonight. I'll leave it over to you now, George, just to say your little bit.
Yeah, well, it's looking forward. I love tomorrow night with Ben and with Paul shows, the great shows. And I think that each night has now become so strong in broadcasting terms. It's really, I know I'm pulling the station up, but it is really worth listening to. And it's a good night for me, and it's a good night from...
Thank you, George. Okay, we're going to end on a high note with a track that's full of life, hopefully, and a bit of a good time. So, good night, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed. Have a good evening for the rest of it, and see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye, George. Bye, George.
Bye.
Okay, folks, that's it basically. So I hope we've done our best for George tonight. That's all I wanted to do. It's been hard, but I just wanted to do something for George because he was a fantastic person and I miss him so much. So this last song that we're going out by is called Jealous Heart by George. Good night, everybody, and we'll all join together. We'll get past this. We will. We really will for George. So take care, and I'll speak to you soon.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.